Good morning, everybody. How are we all doing? Happy Monday. Another week, another dollar. Again. How are we doing? Hello. Where is everybody? Where's the chat gone? Morning, Marco. What's Jack, Paul, Danny, Michael, Mumble, DRC. How are we doing? So today is Monday. This is this week's news events coming up. As you can see, not a huge amount. We've got some big impact news, but not huge amounts of news. And hopefully Friday, we're going to get non-farm payroll this week. But obviously we didn't get last week because of the shutdown, which is still obviously ambling along. But we'll see what happens. Let's just quickly have a look at the ORBs this morning. Not very good day on Friday. A bit of a break-even day in the end on Friday, but meh. So there's your DAX this morning. We've got fairly big range in today. So, yeah, lots of downside available on the DAX. We just get rid of some of these old lines, millions of them. That. So we got this little accumulation building at the moment, or built at the moment from Friday, which potentially could act as a downside support if we break short. If we break long, obviously, that's Thursday, isn't it? Friday's high will be the upside target. We've got this support here as well, which could also act as a interim upside resistance. So we'll see where we go. But so far, we've broken down into Friday's low and rejected. So we'll see where we go. We'll come back to that in a minute. So this week, I got these little, tiny little flies we've got at the moment. We're being plagued by them. And they just keep suddenly they just appear in front of you. And they're like micro, like fruit fly things. No. Morning, Andres. Morning, Barry. So basically, this week's news, obviously we'll go over that as well. I'll have a look at what we're going to be covering in the member streams this week as well. So today, Monday, we've got Lagarde speaking this evening and Bailey. Other than that, that's it. There's nothing else news-wise today. The CAD PMIs and Lagarde speaking again tomorrow. So Wednesday is the first news event this week. So there's nothing really at all, unless one of these talking heads comes out with something interesting. But this week, Wednesday, is when it all kicks off. So we got the New Zealand cash rate coming out. Interest rate's going to be dropping to 2.75. No reason why that shouldn't happen. New Zealanders are, as you can see, there's no impact because they just do what they say. So potential drop in New Zealand, in the New Zealand dollar coming up this week. We tend to get obviously decent movement off of most interest rate decisions. But so that's the main news on Wednesday morning. Then obviously we have the statement, which is their forward guidance. We've got Ueda speaking as well, and then Lagarde speaking, and FOMC meeting minutes. That's not anything to do with interest rates. That's just the meeting minutes. Usually we don't get much of a reaction off of that unless it's unless they give something that basically we don't know, which they don't often. So Wednesday morning really is your only big news event this week. Unemployment claims on Thursday for the dollar. We got two coming out on, because we've missed last week's, haven't we? So we've got two coming out. It's going to be really tricky to negotiate this. These are coming out at different times to differentiate themselves, and then we got Powell speaking, and then obviously we go into the unemployment rates on Friday. So hopefully, we'll get some news there and we'll get some decent impact off of it as well. So that's this week. Obviously, Friday is going to be the big day. That may not happen. The shutdown thing is really weird. So I don't know what's going to happen with it. So it's one of those things you just have to be aware of, and it's all volatile at the moment. Let's just quickly see where the breaks are this morning. So no breaks so far on the DAX. So nice big range got in. So doesn't seem to be an awful lot of volume at the moment. This week in the members streams, we are going to be covering today at 9 o'clock average daily range. So basically, this is absolutely critical level. I don't know why this is not taught everywhere. It's just the thing that stops you being profitable. If you pick up a strategy from 3 years ago and it doesn't work, that's why it doesn't work. I don't know why people don't talk about it more, but ADR, basically, so I'm going to go into it in detail. I'm going to go through all my analysis, all of my research into it, and we're going to look at how basically you need to use it in all of your trading and why you should not be using pips. Wednesday's members streams, we've got two. The multi-account approach, that's not on Wednesday. Sorry, that should have gone into the next Wednesday. Yeah, sorry, that should be on next Wednesdays. So this Wednesday, we're going to be covering the 10 steps to building your own strategy. And then we're going to do on Friday, back testing and indicator types if we have time. If not, I'm going to move this one down into the Q&A session. We'll see how many Q&As we've got this week. So that's this week. And obviously normal streams on YouTube, Friday afternoon and Wednesday afternoon, NASDAQ, etc., etc. And then next week is prop week. So we're going to go into all next week, all about prop strategies, basically how to get paid. Anyway, so that's this week coming up for the Academy. And obviously this is what we're going to be covering today at 9 o'clock. Right, so let's see how we're going on the open. Really, 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 really busy, obviously. So nothing happening there at the moment. So today's main movements, MT5. I'll go to MT4 because MT4 doesn't need restarting every 5 minutes because it just doesn't. So the main mover today, as you can see on the dashboard here, it's probably very obvious, is the yen. So over the weekend, we've had a new president in Japan, a lady. And yeah, the yen has massively gapped up today. So we've got basically, that's Friday's close. That's where we opened today. And as you can see, it's kind of 300 ADR gap up, followed by 125 ADR move up this morning. So beautiful 3-bar reversal just gone in there. If you're in the member streams last week. So I don't understand really. I've had a look through Financial Juice and I don't really understand the size of this gap. So I get the fact that we've got a new president come in, which is fine. There is going to be policy change. So what I expect, because there's nothing red in here with all of this stuff to do with Japan, there's nothing red in here that I could actually see when I looked through the news this morning. What it seems is that there's going to be a lot of changes made probably to monetary policy. Look at the yen. Let's look at my currency strength meter just to see what mine says. Swiss, really? Oh yeah, because it's strengthened up, isn't it? Probably want to look at a 4-hour or a higher time frame for this. There we go. Yen all the way down. So yeah, look at that. It's actually on the bottom. So yeah, obviously the yen's collapsing through the floor. So it looks like obviously these changes are going to be negative, or the markets think it's going to be negative moving forward. Now, this could just be a knee-jerk reaction, as in it's obviously something that was unexpected. I'm taking it, and it could be that they're just basically selling the yen off until they've got the analysis done today, and then they will decide what is best to do next. And it could well be that we just fill this gap. So you might see over the next 48 hours or so, this thing just come all the way back down to origin, or this week at some point. So these moves that we've got here, obviously there's a beautiful 3-bar reversal move just gone in there. Yeah. So on a lower time frame, you will find a 5-minute or 15-minute reversal alert. It's actually not a 15, it's 5. There we go. There's your 5-minute reversal in the middle of that 3-bar reversal on the hourly time frame. And we've also had the retest as well. So it could be that this is the high, and we are just going to fade this entire move. So from a risk reward perspective, obviously as a trader, it doesn't get much better than that. If we are going gap fill, which is a possibility, market doesn't like gaps. There's going to be a lot of banks and institutions caught offside here. They're going to want price back down here. Whether they can get it or not is obviously another matter. But yeah, that's a hell of a risk reward play, isn't it? So you've got all these yens to choose from. Every single one of them is extended. Aussie yen 3-bar reversal is pushing back up again. CAD yen, again, it's all the same stuff, isn't it? Basically, the market's woken up and, hang on a minute, do we really want to be all the way up here? So yeah, it's one of those, you just got to take it. If you think that this is going to be a gap fill, the Swiss is coming down a bit harder than the rest at the moment, and the euro. They're all great opportunities. It'll either work or it won't. And it's one of those trades where you kind of want to take a couple of goes at it. If this one here, this 3-bar reversal we've just had, is the entry and that is your high, this is beautiful. But if it does this for a bit, it's worth having another shot at it, because it may be that it's not going to go first time and it's going to go a bit later on today or tomorrow or any other time. Don't forget, we've got no news catalysts this week until we get to Wednesday. So there's absolutely nothing that's really going to move this market, unless the talking heads say something, until Wednesday morning when the New Zealand rates come out. And if they come out on forecast, there's not really a lot of reason for anything else to move, is there? So the first real news we get is on Thursday. So these are great opportunities for mean reversion. It's one of those, don't try and just constantly sell the thing over and over again. This could collapse the yen. I don't know what the reaction is for. I don't follow Japanese politics and monetary policy to enough of a degree to know what's going on. But if this is going to be a long-term weakening in the yen, this gap may not get filled. And we just go back into that old carry trade. I don't think that's the likely outcome, but you just don't know, do you? So, but from a risk reward perspective, you can't really go wrong. If you're going to swing it for longer, you could look at a 4-hour time frame, look for a 4-hour 3-bar reversal. Your reversal alerts are no use whatsoever on higher time frames, because obviously we've got a gap. So reversal alerts on low time frames like M15, that's where your reversal alert's going to go in. So that's the last bear move before the high. So when that breaks, we're kind of confirmed that structure's broken back down to the downside. But yeah, they are great opportunities. So worth a bash. So that's all you've got really to look at today from an ADR and an RSI perspective. All the RSI extensions, everything is extended way beyond 80, but for obviously a reason. Your RSI extensions today, everything obviously yen based. Beware of anything that's odd based. Actually, that is a big move down on the euro. Look at that. Really weak euro this morning for some reason. Whoops, wrong one. Euro just setting off hard this morning. Swiss unemployment rate. Although that was a while ago, wasn't it? Talking about toppling government. There you go. So Japan's pro-stimulus leader sparks global stock rally. Yen slumps. Global markets were jolted after Japan's election. That's only come in this morning since I haven't read this bit, but Asian shares climbed to record. Nikkei up 4.8%. Okay, there we go. Right, so there's your main, obviously, movement so far this morning. New Zealand dollar, Swiss, and there's a few Swiss pairs on the move. That's a gap down fill. Missed him. I will get that fly. Hovering, can you see it? You probably can't see him. He's so small, but he's like hovering around in front of my face. It's just like I've constantly got this thing moving around in my field of vision. Swiss franc, obviously, there's a fair bit of movement. We got the Aussie Swiss and the New Zealand Swiss have both hit ADRs. Euro pound as well. That's just hit ADR. So Monday morning moves like this, we get a lot of stuff happening over the weekend, which can start big moves off. So sometimes we do get big ADR moves on Mondays, but there's opportunities building. The New Zealand dollar yen has already done its weekly range, which is basically that, isn't it? So I'm going to have a go at one of these, I think. I'm going to have an analysis of, if you want to know what the best one of these to take is, if you come over to the currency strength and have a look at basically what is strong at the moment, the Australian dollar. So if you're looking for something to trade against the yen, you want to pick the strongest thing out there at the moment. So right now on an hourly time frame, it's the Australian dollar. So if you go a little bit sort of higher time frame, H4, you could even look at the dailies. The New Zealand dollar is the strongest thing out there at the moment, followed by the pound. So if you're going to look for something that's going to move the yen the most, because obviously if the yen is weakening and it's continuing to weaken, that's what you want to be trading. If you think it's going to continue as a long, the pound and the New Zealand are the strongest things out there. So if you want to mean revert the yen, you want to find something weak. So the Canadian dollar and the US dollar are weak. So when that yen powers back up and fills that gap, the CAD and the US are going to be the ones that are going to move the fastest towards that gap fill. So CAD yen and US yen, obviously with the US being weak, this is obviously yen weakness. If yen is going to strengthen, that's the move that's going to happen. The US and the Canadian are the weakest at the moment on a daily basis. This one is going to fill the gap fastest or have the highest probability of getting the gap fill. Yeah. So CAD and yen on a daily time frame are your main contenders. Slightly lower time frame. Obviously, the yen is the weakest thing out there at the moment, we know. US dollar and the euro now, obviously, because the euro started to tank. So that is on the move at the moment. So CAD, euro and US dollar for mean reversion opportunities on those yens are going to be the best thing. US is the obvious thing to pick, isn't it? Because they're in an utter mess at the moment. But anyway, we'll see. Right, come back to the DAX. Wrong one. Long break today on the DAX. So we've broken to the upside. There's my partial up there. So we've got this area here of accumulation from Friday. So obviously that move down that we got on Friday. Friday's very rotational session for New York. But that's your upside resistance today. So we had this area of support after the open on Friday, where we just sat around for ages. Then we finally broke through that. So watch that area there for potential upside resistance today. Obviously, if we do break this, that's your high from Friday. That's your target. That's where you're going to find the sellers. There we go. Morning WDS. Are swaps an issue with the yen? Yeah, they are. So with the yen, you look at the swaps, MT5, why? So US dollar yen at the moment, not too bad, actually, if you look at it. So it's $5.30 short, 270 long. I would be happy to take that short. Some of the other yen pairs, very expensive. Actually, no, they're not too bad. Although, hang on a minute. That's not right. That's not right. Yeah, that's right. Is that right? No, it's not right. Why is that not updated? That's odd. Yeah, it's 1460 short. So, you know, this is the downside to the yen. If you're going to hold this and you're in it for days, then obviously you're going to be paying swaps on it. So it is expensive. Why is that not updating? More importantly, delete that off. Switch over to the hourly. That should update on tick. I thought maybe not. MT5. This is why I love MT5. Everything works, and then it suddenly just doesn't work, and you're like, why aren't you working? It's like, don't know. We've updated something in the millions of lines of code that we've told you we've updated over the last few months has stopped that working. MT4, never a problem. Always works. Why did they even bother building the thing? Position trader, there we go. And now I'm going to, have I got a license for this terminal? That one to do. Swap filter on. There we go. Right, so there you go. So good old MT4, it works. So 23.20 short on US dollar yen. New Zealand dollar yen, 11.50. Pound yen, 11.50. Euro yen, 14.60. Swiss, either way. Yeah, so CAD is only 11. So CAD is probably the best thing to try and short at the moment from that perspective. And it's also weak. So that would be the obvious choice for a short. New Prime Minister in Japan, yes. May cause a delay in rate hikes. Is that what it is it? Yeah. So obviously the interest rates in Japan, they've always had negative interest rates in Japan. And if we just go back over last decade, as you can see, we've always had negative interest rates in Japan for something like 20 years, 15 years, something like that. They just don't use interest rates to control inflation. They have a completely different economic model. What they've done is, obviously, where was the first rate hike? Back in March last year, they decided to actually change interest rates. So they decided to use interest rates to try and control inflation. And this was when we had that massive intervention move, which everything collapsed against the yen, which is what they threatened to do. They told everyone it was happening, and then they did it. So that's what's happened with interest rates. Now we've got this positive interest rate movement. We're up to 0.5%, which is higher than the Swiss now. So the Japanese yen is even higher interest rates than the Swissy at the minute. But the plan was to get this back up to normal interest rate control mechanisms, which is 2%. So they're trying to get this up to 2%. Now, she's turned around and said, actually, we're not going to do that. Obviously, all this positive movement that we've had on the Japanese yen over the last couple of years, yeah, that's the intervention. since then, you know, they've made headway. Looks like that was happening, and we were going to get back to these lows, and it was all going to become normalized. If she's changing the stance, obviously, there's a potential that we go back into the carry trade, and we just basically, there's absolutely no reason to do anything but long the yen, because they pay you to long the yen. You take a position in the yen today, yeah, and it goes down and comes back to your break-even price in 3 months' time, you'll make money because they're paying you to hold the thing. It's called the carry trade. So it could be that she's going back to that. And if that's the case, then the banks will go back to doing what they used to do, which is basically continuously sell and devalue the yen. But that is why they put the intervention move in, because they didn't want that anymore. And this 150 level that we've just hit today was the line in the sand. So we had two interventions prior to the big one that we had. 150 was the line in the sand where the Japanese would constantly say, if you push us beyond 150, we will intervene and you will get hurt. And they did that over and over again. Then they threatened it, and the threat failed and it went up. And this is why we had this massive intervention. They basically changed monetary policy completely. So, yeah, I don't know. It's difficult to call. This is all part of trading, understanding the economics of why things move. But it's a very complicated thing, isn't it? So watch this upside resistance. If this doesn't work today and we don't go straight to gap, that upside resistance from 2 months ago is likely to get a reaction. So on an intraday basis, you know, like I say, if you want to take a couple of attempts at this, have a crack at this one. If it doesn't work out, you're only looking at roughly half an ADR, just over, before we hit the 2 month high. And you're going to get a reaction there. So it might be that we do that. You know, so have a go here, doesn't work out. Have a go here, doesn't work out. Carry trade on. Don't try and mean revert it, because it will just carry on going. Tricky one, isn't it? Upside rejection on the DAX. That's not looking good, is it? Hey, everybody that was in the member streams last week. What's that? Morning. Can you look at gold? Do you think gold will continue to rise while the USA shut down? Yeah, because the USA is weakening. So gold is just a dollar cross. So as long as the dollar's weak, gold will be strong. However, a double tweezer. A tweezer top, mumble, correct. So yeah, it's difficult to tell. This last shutdown we had was 35 days or something, and it was about 7 years ago. Government shutdowns are not good. Obviously, they massively affect unemployment, and they affect a lot of stuff. It's not going to be good for the dollar, obviously. So it's not in Trump's interest, really, to keep this shutdown going. But it's Trump. He'll do what he wants. So, yeah, I've got shorts on this at the moment, looking for a mean reversion on the long play. So I'm looking for this to get mean reverted. That fly is on the microphone. Sorry, that was probably really loud, wasn't it? Anyway, it's Monday morning. So, yeah, I'm playing the long play down. Where to, I don't know. We'll see where we go. But at some point, this will come back down, probably when the shutdown lifts. But at the moment, yeah, it's tricky trying to mean revert this thing. There's always going to be multiple levels of support on this on the way down, because it's been climbing so orderly with market structure. You're going to have tons and tons of areas which are easily identifiable to buy it. And this is what's happening, is every time you pull back, the market just buys it back up again. So, but all it's going to take is something to change with the shutdown, with Trump, with anything. And obviously this will come back down again. It will come back down again at some point. But, you know, if we knew when it was coming down, we'd do it. But yes, anyway, we'll see. Right. Got a bit of a little gap up there, look. Not a lot of volume, liquidity this morning. You see this like flicking around. It's not very orderly this morning. Doesn't seem like there's a lot of volume in the market today. But we will see where we go. So we are above or trying to get above this sort of pullback that we had on Friday. That was about 5 o'clock-ish. Nice 3-bar reversal there as well. That was about 5 o'clock-ish. So coming up to lunch, US. So we may well hold that level today. Looks like we're definitely holding that level today, doesn't it? They can't get through. So probably going to stop out on the long. Short play's got obviously a hell of a lot more distance on it. So you got this accumulation from Thursday, which is going to be your first downside support. Failing that, realistically, you're looking at 125 ADR. You got this little bit here where we kind of had a bit of a pullback, which was probably just flag break profit takes, aren't they? But that area there, obviously as well, which is roughly ADR to the downside, is next target. So either we are going to crack that and we're going to come down into here, or we're going to find support here and we're just going to go into rotation. If it breaks down, obviously, we don't know. Doesn't look like it's got any volume at all today anyway. So likely to do nothing. It's going to be one of those days today. I hate it when there's no news. When there's no news, you've got no catalyst to move the market. So when there's no catalyst to move the market, you just sit in rotation. Rotation obviously doesn't suit breakout strategies. Look at that. That's the look at the long swap on gold. $38. Yeah. Quite hard to make money long in gold. You've got to have some serious size on, and you've got to get some serious movement to actually make money on long plays on gold. If you press the long button here, trying to buy that, you were sitting in it for 2 weeks, basically. All you were doing was just spending $38 every day. Like, ouch. Shorting it, though, not a problem. I can hold it short as long as I want. Doesn't cost a penny. Nice. He's not going away. He won't leave me alone. Where's he gone now? Just one fly. Just one little fly. He's having the time of his life, isn't he? He's just floating around going, I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him. No, miss me. Spends his life basically avoiding people trying to chop them to death. Right. Anybody got any other pairs or anything they want to look at today? There's nothing much else to cover there. Today, it's all about the yen. So your plays today are having a look at yen movement. Be interesting to see what the market currently is positioned at on the yen. Let's have a look at that. Yeah, no positioning yet. So the market's fairly neutral. Swiss yen, they're buying. Sorry, they're selling. Yeah, so no, there is a little bit, isn't there? So euro yen, pound yen, yeah, they've already jumped in. Look. So 93% of the market is currently short the Swiss yen. They're already in the reversal. 87% are short euro yen. 82% are short pound yen. So there's a very good argument for the yen staying exactly where it is today. The entire market is the wrong way on it potentially. But this is one of those moves. When you look at retail sentiment, this is one of those moves where the banks and institutions have caused a large upset, and it's quite possible that retail is right on this, and this is a gap fill. That would be my thoughts on it, but we'll see how they get there, though. Yeah, is the question. Are they going to put another leg into the upside before they come back down? We will find out. Tune in tomorrow. I'm not here tomorrow. Be back on Wednesday. Right. I'll leave you there then. If there's no other questions or anything, or anybody wants to look at anything. So in 20 minutes, we'll be covering average daily range, understanding how far price will travel. So I'm going to go through all the ADR research that I've done basically. So we'll be going through everything to do with ADR, statistics, the maths behind it, why it's important. If you're still using pips, why you're not making money, basically. It's because you're measuring everything wrong. Yeah, so we're going to go through that today in detail. I've got it in for roughly 30 minutes. Might take a little bit longer than that. We'll see how we get on. And then obviously Wednesday, we're going into 10 steps to build your own strategy. I'll get that moved out because that's in the wrong day. And then we're looking at back testing. So this is the final part of the this part of the course. So once we've got these 4 lessons done, hopefully this week, that's all the basics done. And then we'll move on to prop week next week. And then we'll carry on with all of this stuff. So exciting things. Right. So anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram. I'll be back on Wednesday afternoon for the next free stream. Yeah, we'll go from there. How are my ORB trades doing? All right. There they are. They're all there. Pretty good. This account is up. This was a 10K account. So it's 16K now. So up 61%. But today, I get the feeling it might be one of those double stop out days. We'll see. Market doesn't. It's coming to life a little bit now. It's a little bit quiet, the open there, but not a lot of volume. But we might get a bit of movement now. We'll see. Right. So back on Wednesday afternoon for the next YouTube stream. And obviously members, I'll see you in roughly 20 minutes and we'll go through the ADR lesson. All right. Oh, DAX is really on the move now. Whole market's on the move. Everything's shooting down. So yeah, see you next session. Anything you need, let me know. I'll be in Discord or Telegram. Other than that, we'll see you next time. Have a good day.